Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be finishing up the final part of the push-pull leg series, which will be the ultimate leg workout. If you haven't, go check out parts 1 and part 2, which were the push and the pull workouts, because they combine with this one to make a full workout routine. I'll make sure to link them in the description box below to make them super easy to find. So let's jump right into it. For the first exercise of this leg workout, we're going to begin with 4 sets of 6 on the barbell back squat. The back squat is one of the most complete movements that you can do for your legs, working the 3 vastest muscles of the quads through extension at the knee, the gluteus maximus through extension at the hip, and using the calves, abductors, adductors, and spinal erectors to stabilize throughout the whole range of motion. While the hamstrings and the 4th quadricep muscle, the rectus femoris, are also active, they are biarticular in nature. Biarticular meaning that the muscle crosses 2 joints, makes it so that the muscles are lengthening at one joint while shortening at another, limiting their force production during the lift. Proper form when squatting is an important part of maximizing its benefits, and a focus should be placed on keeping a straight up and down bar path in order to most efficiently move the weight, utilizing a hip hinge to better activate the glutes, and squatting to somewhere around parallel in order to maximize range of motion and muscle activation. For our second exercise, we'll be doing 3 sets of 8 of the Romanian Deadlift. Since the hamstrings are biarticular, they control both flexion of the knee and extension at the hip, so when looking to optimize hamstring training, it's a good idea to work the hamstrings with at least one lift that targets them at each joint. The Romanian Deadlift does just that, eccentrically loading the hamstrings and glutes at the hip while keeping the knee in a near static position with only small amounts of movement occurring at the knee. One study looking at EMG activation of the hamstring muscles during different posterior chain movements found that the Romanian Deadlift and glute ham raise exercises maximized hamstring activity compared to other exercises like hamstring curls and good mornings. This lift should put a focus on eccentric loading, building a mind-muscle connection with the hamstrings, feeling the tension building as the weight lowers, then using that tension to pull the weight back up for the concentric contraction. Next up in this leg workout are going to be split squats for 3 sets of 8 reps for each leg. Since we've done plenty of bilateral movements that work both sides at the same time, we'll move into some unilateral exercises, putting the focus on just one leg at a time, and getting better activation of the adductor and abductor muscles that help stabilize the hips and thighs. Split squats should be done with a steady surface to support the back leg, the front leg out far enough to keep the knee behind the toes in the bottom position, with the torso fairly upright to keep tension on the quads. Adding a forward lean to this movement turns it into an exercise called a sprinter lunge, adding more of an emphasis to the glutes, but for the sake of this workout, we're looking to get more quad activation, so we'll be performing the exercise with an upright torso position. Moving on to our knee-based hamstring exercise, we'll be doing 3 sets of 10 of the pronated leg curl. Similar to the Romanian Deadlift from earlier in the workout, the pronated leg curl will isolate the function of the hamstrings to one joint by keeping the hips fairly immobile, giving the hamstrings control of the weight at the knee. Due to the gastrocnemius being biarticular and assisting in knee flexion, we want to plantar flex our ankles, limiting the force that the gastroc can produce and helping to better isolate the hamstring muscles. This can be a useful tool for overload since you can change from plantar flexion to dorsiflexion as the hamstrings get closer to failure, adding the gastrocnemius back into the movement to help you get out a few additional reps. Coming in at our 5th exercise, we'll be doing 3 sets of 10 on seated leg extensions. Since the hip is immobile during this movement, that rectus femoris muscle will get more activation in this lift than with the previous quad exercises like the squat and the split squat. Make sure to allow knee flexion and extension to travel through a full range of motion when doing this lift, going through full extension and at least 90 degrees of flexion, keeping your butt down on the machine the whole time to make sure you aren't cheating the reps. And we can't finish off the ultimate leg workout without hitting the muscles that stabilize the inner and outer thighs and hips. So for our final 2 exercises, we'll start off with cable hip abductions for 2 sets of 12. While doing these, focus on keeping the toes either pointed straight forward or even medially rotated slightly at the femur, because we want to be careful not to externally rotate at the femur, because opening up our hips this way will take the exercise from a hip abduction to utilizing the hip flexors more, ruining the entire point of the lift. And finally, we'll finish it off with an exercise that works both the adductor muscles of the inner thigh and the core, with something called a Copenhagen Plank for 2 sets of 30 seconds, making sure to change sides between sets. This exercise uses a bench to support the top leg with the bottom leg free floating, putting all the force that's resisting gravity into the adductors of the leg on the bench, the abs, and the obliques as you fight gravity to keep your body in that straight line. These muscles play a major role in stabilization during some of the bigger lifts like a squat, a deadlift, or a hip thrust, and can be an underappreciated part of becoming strong in those compound lifts. Ending it here, guys. Hope you enjoyed the push-pull legs workout series. Go check out part 1 and 2 if you haven't, and let me know in the comments of this video if you liked the workout split. That way I know if I should make other ones for you, like upper lower body, full body, bro splits, really anything, just to give you some more variety. But until then, go ahead, subscribe to my channel, turn on notifications, and I will see you next time.